Hello, Libra, and welcome to Indigo Rising Tarot. Thank you so much for joining me today, and I hope you're having a great day. This will be your weekly reading for the week of August 17th through the 23rd, and during that time, we'll have a waning crescent moon, and that's a really good time for surrender, rest, and healing. Good time to just let go, relax a little bit. You might want to do a little mental evaluation of kind of where you've been and where you're headed, because we have the new moon that comes up on the 23rd, which is a really good time for a new start, new beginning. So just kind of, the end of one cycle, go right into the next. This will be an intuitive general reading for energies that you may or may not encounter, Libra. So, of course, please keep that in mind. Take what resonates and leave what doesn't on the table for someone else. And your overall message for this reading: nothing will come of this situation. All right, let's see what the Libra Collective has going on for this week. As I'm shuffling, I would like to say that my weekly reminder this week is that you get out into nature. So find a place to take a hike, take a little walk if you can. If you want to just spread out a blanket and look at a lovely view, that would be great. Have a picnic, something, take your shoes off, maybe ground a little bit, but just try to spend some time in nature this week. If you're near water, the rest of us are jealous that you get to live near the ocean or a lake or a creek. I would love to live near water. We don't live that close to water, so the swimming pool, I guess, makes up for it. I just love the sound of water. I just love water. So my dream one day is to live a little closer to a bigger body of water. Anyway, but make sure you get out in nature this week as you're doing that, resting and healing up from the end of this cycle. It's just a good battery recharge. So, all right, without further ado, Libra, let's get into this reading. Libra, August 17th through the 23rd, nothing will come of this situation. Your present energy is the Hermit, which just came up for, it's the last reading. I just did a reading for, was it Virgo maybe? Virgo might have had somebody had the Hermit. Oh, I think it was Leo. Anyway, so a little inner searching, a little inner seeking. And again, that does kind of go right along with this moon energy that we're going to be in, because it's just time to kind of go within, be a little self-reflective. You think about where you've been and draw upon your inner wisdom to, I always like to point out that the Hermit is not lighting up the world with this lamp, but he's only lighting up like his next step. And that's kind of, that's what inner wisdom is. It's like, what is my next step? Just the one step, so that the motion continues, the motion of life that continues, the next thing. It's not lighting up the whole world. What am I looking at a month or a year down the road? No, it's just, what is my next step this week? So, those little steps are what lead to those bigger, longer journeys. So keep that in mind as you're moving through your week. Your current situation, Knight of Swords. So as you're doing this inner contemplation and you're, kind of in that, inner seeking hermit mode, here comes some message. Great. Or it really could be, it doesn't necessarily have to be a message from the outside world, although it very well could be, but it also could be just an idea that comes to you, just something that comes flooding in and rushing in, but it comes in very quickly. And again, it could be because of those thoughts you're having. Could just be an idea that pops in that hasn't in the past. And there you go. At the root of your situation is a new journey here with the Fool card. So it could be that you're just thinking about your next steps. Like I said, with the Hermit, his next step is only lit, this lamp is only lighting his one next step. Well, look at the Fool. He's about to jump off of a cliff here. He could probably use the wisdom of the Hermit before he takes a step. I mean, I think the dog is definitely trying to warn the Fool, but the Fool just jumps in. So maybe you're trying to use that wisdom, Libra, to again, to illuminate that next step that you're about to take. And hopefully it's not off a giant cliff like the Fool is. In your recent past is the Star card. So it looks like you've been in a place where you're on course. You come into whatever this new journey is for you with a sense of direction and guidance. That you've been just I look at this kind of like the temperance card, just very balanced emotionally with the real decisions that you have to make about um like things in the real world. You're kind of watching signs and signals and being drawn to things, but you come into this with a nice clarity of direction of where you're headed. What is on your mind this week is the Empress. So the Empress is our card of pregnancy. So, of course, I always have to mention that. For some of you, it might be that you are in family planning mode right now. If you're not, be very careful, because this is, something that's on your mind at least. But it could be that you are thinking of creating something, and of course, the Empress. The biggest thing she might create is another life. So definitely keep that in mind. But even though this is our mother card, the Empress doesn't, it's not always about creating life. It is also creating things that are kind of a longer term commitment and thinking a little further down the road. And like I said, with, the wisdom is about lighting that next step, but the Empress is definitely about thinking about saying yes to something that takes a longer commitment, a longer time to get into. This may be that you just want to commit to something that is going to take a longer term. This is like committing to maybe an education that is going to pay off long term, but is going to take months and months of work. Committing to a project or something. So it's on your mind, and you might be that you've made that commitment. It's just on your mind. It's your next step. Um, so we'll see as the cards come out here. What is just ahead of you is the Page of Wands. So this is kind of a new path, and maybe something that you are very passionate about. And like I said, for some of you, it could be parenthood, but it could also be that you're thinking about an education, or you're making a change on your job, which could be a commitment for a certain number of months out, that it's not just a quick 1 week thing. It's something that you're kind of thinking out a little bit longer term. So but it's something that you're thinking about when it comes to, it's like a new path that's exciting. It's an exciting thing that you're about to do, this change that you're making. In your advice position is the Two of Swords. So your advice is to maybe think about this a little bit as well, which you do appear to be doing with the hermit mode. So I'm going to say that, as these ideas come into you, and as you think about these longer term commitments, just give it a little bit more thought. This week, you may not want to make a move early this week, but again, we have the new moon on the 23rd, so you might want to wait until that energy comes around, because those are good times for new beginnings and a fresh start, and for things to be successful as you move into them. So maybe not make a choice early in the week, and go ahead and let yourself think about it, stew on it a little bit, come up with ideas. Just take that time to really rest and heal, and think about the path, think about where you've just been, so that before you make a step into the future here, you've really kind of just thought about all the different angles and things that you needed to think about. What is beyond your control this week is the Knight of Wands. So again, with the passion, and this is action in the way of passion. So whatever this is, it's something that you do care about, and something that you're excited about. So I'm excited about that. It's beyond your control, excuse me, to be excited about a new thing that's coming up. So, but just, quell that excitement a little bit, be excited, but let's not make that make you rush to some decision that is going to be long term. So you don't want to turn around and be like, oh, and have regrets there. Just relax and think about that moon energy. There's a reason we use those moon energies, is because starting something during a new moon is just going to maybe cause you to have a better line of success with it. So keep that in mind. Your secret desire, or what you're trying to avoid, is the World card. So hopefully, it's, what's really funny is that the Fool is the first card in the major arcana. Oh, let me turn my camera down there. The Fool is the first step of the journey, and the World card is the last part of the journey, where you're in perfect balance. These are your dreams coming true. Wish fulfillment. This is definitely just the freedom of being happy and tranquil, and happy with the decisions that you've made. So hopefully that is your secret desire, and not what you're trying to avoid. And I understand that you're thinking about something long term, and you want it to work out, and that's your goal. So completely understand that. In your outcome position, because that is your wish, let's see what the reality is another two here with the Two of Cups. So This could be a coming together of partnership with, again, if it's pregnancy that you're thinking about, then there you go. There's your partnership, and discussing this with your partner and how, the kind of things that you would talk to each other about before you decide to become parents. How will we educate our child? How will we discipline our child? All those things that you want to make sure that you're on the same page with. And that's the outcome. And this also, again, if it's about a job or a project, this is coming together with someone else to definitely, be eye to eye in the same, kind of emotional realm where you understand where the other one's coming from. Also, anytime I see a double two or a double number here, look up angel number 22, see if that means anything for what you're going through this week, Libra. Let's see what's hidden for you at the bottom of the deck. Is the six of wands here, which is, this is about a little bit of celebration, and that's hidden from you this week. So it could be that as you make this decision, then you will then be celebrated for the decisions that you make in the future. But it's not like you're in celebration mode just yet. So I do think you're mulling something over. You're going to think real hard about that decision, but it does involve a new journey, and it's something that you're passionate about and happy about. And if it is your secret desire for things to be successful, of course, hopefully that is your desire. And I think you're on the right path to make a really good decision. Just calm down, make sure you know all the little ins and outs of everything this week. So, all right, let's get a final message here from the Soul Oracle deck. Final message for Libra. Your overall message was that nothing will come of this situation. Um, and I don't know if I believe that. And it could be a situation within this. It could be that there's something that doesn't come. And I'm pointed at this card. I feel like there might be some message that comes in um, that seems to affect this, but it doesn't. If does that make sense to you? Drop a comment down below. Maybe again, it could be a thought that you have, but I'm almost thinking like, an email or a message or something that comes in, that it comes in very quickly, and you kind of shakes your world, but I feel like nothing's going to come of it, and you're going to continue on this new journey, thinking new things, being creative with this Empress card. I feel like this is the situation that nothing will come of. So pay attention to messages and things that come into you this week, and let's not get too freaked out about anything that seems to freak you out at first. I think nothing's going to come of it. All right, final word here from the Soul Oracle deck. Quietly serve. So I think you need to quietly continue moving about your life as you go through this. Of course, that's, that hermit mode is being quiet and contemplating things. So just kind of continue through your week. Let's see what you need to do in the way of self-care, Libra, as you go through this situation. And especially when you get, I hate it when things come in like this. And it's like, I'd say like you get some scary letter in the mail from your power company or something, and it's just false. I mean, advertisers are really good at kind of freaking you out, or something that's maybe like a mistake, that comes in. But again, nothing will come of whatever. I really do think it's something about that message there. So, all right, your self-care card, Libra, for this reading is the choice card. I love the art on this. All the different choices almost reminds me of the what is it, the Seven of Cups there, with all the different art things in the background there. Okay, the choice card says, worry less about making the right choice and more about being strong enough to handle any outcome. I love that. I love that message. So being strong enough to handle any outcome. And that's here with this too. Sometimes we do get frozen in the choices with things where you just can't make a decision, and it's almost like you want things to turn out perfectly, and they just never do. occasionally occasionally you get the perfect turn, and sometimes you do. But trying to force things into just being, oh, this is the perfect, there's always things that come up. There's always, and you do have to be strong enough. What did it say? Strong enough to handle any outcome. So just make sure you're doing that. Make sure you're set up to be like, okay, if this works out, it's great. If it doesn't, it's also great. And I think that's kind of the message there. So Libra, I really appreciate your time here with me today. I do hope there's something in this reading that you can take away and use in your week. If you are comfortable sharing, of course, drop me a comment down below and let me know, what's coming up. Did you have a message that came in this week that made you go, and did nothing come of it? I'd be very curious to know if some of you had that. And I do think whatever you're working on, it seems very positive. I just get a really positive vibe from this whole thing. Don't let whatever this message is that comes in, nothing's going to come of it. Don't let it freak you out. Just take a breath and get through it. Be strong enough to handle any outcome. So, once again, I thank you for being here. I post readings every week. So, come back next week and we'll see if this energy continues on or if there's some completely new energy here for you. Also, if you like my reading style, of course, if you hit that like and subscribe button, really helps me. It pushes my videos out in the algorithm, and that really helps me. But most importantly, it'll help you find me next week. So thanks so much, Libra, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.